What I have here are the results of an analysis that I conducted before, and I am focusing here my attention to SBP, which is systolic blood pressure, as a dependent variable of other possible independent variables. And as I look at systolic blood pressure, I see that there is no strong association, which I would consider an association higher than 0.6 between systolic blood pressure and any plausible cause or independent variable that could cause systolic blood pressure. The association between systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure is interesting, but from a management of systolic blood pressure perspective, it's close to irrelevant because I really can't manipulate systolic blood pressure that easily. Weight variation seems to be somewhat strongly associated with systolic blood pressure, but not that much. The association is below 0.6. And essentially what this is telling me is that if my weight varies upwards during a particular period of time, then systolic blood pressure seems to go up. Well, that could be manipulated by having a more stable weight, but still the association is not as strong for me to be convinced that systolic blood pressure is going to be significantly affected. And then all other variables have low associations with systolic blood pressure. All other possible causes, plausible causes, like aerobic exercise, niacin intake, refined carbs. If I look at the graphs for systolic blood pressure, I really can't find anything that seems to be strongly associated with systolic blood pressure. Weight variation again comes up here as somewhat strong, but then when we look at the graph, it's all over the place. So what's going on here? Well, let me open a sample data set that I have and that I will use for this analysis. And the sample data set has something that was forgotten before in measurements, which is heart rate. So what I will do is I will go to HealthCorrelator for Excel, and I will go to the main window. I will delete associations and graphs. I will go to my health data, and I will copy into there this new data set, which contains heart rate, which was a variable that was missing from this previous data set that I used. So copy heart rate, or copy that previous data set here, including heart rate, and I'll leave heart rate here in yellow just to emphasize that I'm adding a new variable to the analysis. I'll go back to, I will close my sample data sheet. Software is asking me if I want to keep whatever is on the clipboard still there. I'll just say no to that. I will go to the main window and I will calculate associations and plot graphs. So my new calculations have been completed. So let me go to systolic blood pressure, again SBP, and see the associations. And aha! Heart rate seems to be strongly associated with systolic blood pressure, very strongly associated, and heart rate is a plausible cause of systolic blood pressure. Let's go to the graphs. Now the variable has been number 10 because I have more variables in the data set. So let's look at the graph relating systolic blood pressure to heart rates. Aha! Look at this. Systolic blood pressure seems to be strongly associated with heart rate. Heart rate goes up, systolic blood pressure goes up as well. So what is really going on here? What is happening that is affecting heart rate in this much? And affecting systolic blood pressure. There are a couple of possibilities here. One is that this individual developed a heart problem over time. Another possibility is a simple one, that this individual is suffering from what is referred to as anxiety-induced increased heart rate. Since heart rate does influence systolic blood pressure, this increase in systolic blood pressure over time is essentially being caused by this person going to the doctor and getting progressively more anxious over time, and every time the person goes to the doctor, heart rate goes up a bit. How can this person figure out what's going on here? Well, what this person could do is measure his or her heart rate early in the morning when he or she is very relaxed. All you have to do is look at the watch and count the number of heartbeats over 60 seconds and see what the heartbeat is. If the heartbeat is low, say in the low 60s, that essentially means that this is most likely anxiety-induced increase in heart rate and anxiety-induced increase in systolic blood pressure. This concludes this demo.